go get them again.
Welcome back to the Robezoid channel. I'm your host Mark, and this is a new segment on my channel. We'll see if I continue to do this. I'm going to just call it Let's Talk. And basically, what made me think about this segment is I'm testing out sampling samples. I'm still not done. I got a couple more wearings of Dior Parfum, the 2025 edition. And I got my DHPs right here. I believe I got this one at launch. Yeah, it's a 75 ml bottle. And then after smelling this, I got a 2020 bottle here, a 100 ml bottle here, right here as a backup. Like, as you can see, a little bit of a dent. Now, DHP, I'm not going to lie to you, it's not my favorite fragrance of all time. Right? It's a very solid designer fragrance. It's actually one of the premium designer fragrances, I believe, personally. Right? I think the only fragrance reviewer that can really say that this is their favorite fragrance designer, the proof's in the pudding, right? There's a lot of influencers that like to lie to you, and they lie to you a lot. And they say, oh my God, DHP's done. It used to be my favorite. Sebastian's the only one that can cry in a corner. Honestly, proof's in the pudding. All his videos about DHP, he's got more backup bottles than the whole United States. Note to Sebastian, if he's watching, I don't think you need more than 8 backup bottles, bro. You have a collection like 4,000 bottles like me, approximately, and you keep getting new ones just like I do. We're not going to go, even this is your number one. You may go through 1, 2 bottles in your lifetime. Personally, for me, like I got one backup. I got it at fragrancebuy.ca. It's long gone now. I bought it like a week ago or something. Right after New Year's, they had a whole bunch come in. And I bought one. It was like 2 something Canadian. It's pretty pricey, but that's all I need. I wasn't going to be, an idiot and buy 10 bottles and then go on eBay and sell them. It's not being an idiot. First of all, that's a smart businessman. But I'm a purist in this fragrance thing, and I believe, I know Sebastian probably talks about going to Europe and buying the whole store. Personally, for me, I think that's kind of not classy. You have 8 bottles, you're good. You don't have to, share the wealth. If you really like fragrance and perfume, there's something to be said about get your backup bottle and you're happy. You're good to go. And with a collection like ours, there's no way, right? If it's your signature scent, I understand, right? The thing has changed. It has. So I'm not going to go through the whole fragrance thing because the video is coming up with sampling samples on DHP 2025. So I'm looking forward to that. But that kind of went into a segue of designer brands and tier lists. People are asking like they loved my tier list in the niche realm. That video did extremely well. It is a video that's off the beaten path for me. It is definitely an influencer type kind of video, but I had some fun with it, right? It's not too serious. It was my opinion. People got angry, right? Oh my God, why is Tom Ford in that? It's not niche. Why is it S class? It's my opinion, bud. It goes into like my whole collection, right? You see all these Tom Fords. I went through the whole realm of, pricing, things like that. Either way, people wanted designer tier lists, and this is kind of built that way. And the DHP sampling samples, I'm going to kind of touch base in regards of the tier of the designer realm. And it kind of got me thinking of, and this is my personal journey, right? This is my opinion, my thoughts, right? This is what my channel, this is not fact. I'm a 90s baby, right? I was, I wasn't born in the 90s, I was born in the 80s, but 90s were my thing, right? 90s music, 90s movies, I was a teenager / going into my 20s, Scents, right? Le Male, Boss Bottled, 90s baby, right? I never felt like I know how I feel now about music, right? I'm listening more music in the past than I have as what's on the radio now. So I felt that. And in the fragrance game, I never really, as a reviewer, like I never transitioned my channel into full on niche, right? You would think there'd be a transition with a perfume guy like myself that I would just kind of get bored with the designer. I'm thinking I'm at that threshold now. And this might be like one of those videos that I'm just like, huh, right? And that's kind of what this let's talk about. Like, this is not old man saying, get off my grass, that everything's junk right now. This is my journey. And this is kind of, like going through my Rolodex of music, like the 90s inspired, like early 2000s, things like that. Those are like my time capsules. And some of this is my time. Obviously, some of these are more rare things that I feel are quality in these brands, and kind of like the different brands and their different takes on different things, and how I feel like the designer game for me personally now. And that kind of goes with DHP is that yes, we lost a fragrance that is a 10 out of 10, 9 out of 10. It is definitely punching up its price tag, punching up in regards to the competition. It really is a fragrance that is almost niche quality, quote unquote. I know some people hate saying that, but that's what it is, and that's probably why it didn't do very well. However, Dior really handcuffed DHP, right? The distribution of this fragrance was very limited for some reason. I don't know. My reps can't tell me why. My reps told me, especially recently, the ones in Europe, I think it was the Netherlands, Italy, and France. And I think I mentioned that in this sampling samples when that's going to be published. That they said they were told to put this off the shelves recently, like in the past couple of years, is that people can request it. It's kind of like Dior Vetiver and some of the private blends or privés that are kind of hard to find. You kind of have to ask for it at the boutiques, and they have them. I don't know. It's kind of like a weird thing. But anyway, going back to the segment of Let's Talk, and you're going to maybe get to know me a little bit. Some of you already know me. Some of you already know a lot of these fragrances. A lot of them discontinued. Some great fragrances. But this is my journey. This is a lot of this, right? It's not the ones that I think are the best designer fragrance of all. No, absolutely not. I just picked that random. But I always said, like, if you're talking about designer tier list, I'm talking about Chanel, Hermes, and Dior. To me personally, the quality, the craftsmanship, everything put into a fragrance in the men's aisle only. I'm not judging them on their privé lines. I'm not judging them on their females. I'm talking about what I've smelt. These are the three brands that are your premium designer brands in regards to are they worth the retail price? I would say a lot of them are. Obviously, shop around. Don't be a goofball. But looking at this DHP, and I was just like looking at it, I'm like, when was the last time Dior, and not even just Dior, Chanel and Hermes, the top three really blew me away, and that kind of goes in that segment of Chanel has the crown, in my eyes. They got the history, they got everything, right? However, what have you done for me lately? When was the last time a Chanel men's release? Bleu de Chanel is garbage personally for me, my opinion, right? It's my opinion. The new Allure, that's just a blip on the radar. When was the last time an Allure fragrance was a 9 out of 10, like an 8, like bottle worthy on my segment? 8, 9, 10. This one right here is the last one. Allure Homme Edition Blanche. I have the original, was this the Eau de Toilette Concentré version before they changed them all. I still have my original bottle. And that was the last time that, and I'm trying to remember, now I'm not talking about privé, I'm talking about men's line, is the last time I got excited about a Chanel fragrance. When I smelled it, I'm like, oh, this is quality, it's great. This is a stunner. It made top 20s in spring quite a bit on my channel. A great fragrance. I know we're going back now. We can go to Egoist. We can go to Antheus. Like Antheus is over there somewhere. It's right there. Antheus Purum. I don't know if you can see it, but it's probably the most daring, the best Chanel men's release, in my opinion. Egoist is there. Platinum Egoist, of course. There's a lot of good Chanels in the 90s, 80s, all that. It just begs to differ. Like, do they still have the crown? Like, as much as history, and of course, they put a lot of money, right? They got some of the best noses in the game, right? When you got a stable of Sheldrake as one of your perfumiers, Pudge, all that history, you got, farms, floral farms of your own, so you don't have to outsource it. It goes to show you that they take perfumery really seriously. However, in the men's aisle, what have you done for me lately? 10 plus years, right? 10, 20 years. It's been a while since personally I've seen anything from Chanel. And that's why this DHP review kind of clicked in, is that, okay, what has Dior done for me lately? Now they've climbed. They once Demachy came in, I don't care how many people hate Demachy. People are starting to change their tune on Demachy for some reason now. Francis, it's not MFK by the way, it's Francis. MFK is Maison M. That means his house, the house of Maison Francis Kirk. So Francis came in and kind of destroyed Dior apparently. And I'm gonna get into that in the DHP. You should really check out that review talking about Francis and his workload. He still is the perfumier for MFK. He just signed on for Perfumes for Air France. Like, it's great money for him or LVMH or whomever got that contract. But it just goes to show you he might be a little too busy for, he was maybe just a hired gun for Dior. Now, Demachy did some great things for Dior. The Parfum edition of Eau Sauvage right here, obviously DHP and Fahrenheit, might be the last great releases from the men's line, honestly, from Dior. So are they, bringing the quality down? Right? What have you done for me lately? Like, they were climbing to take the crown from Chanel. Honestly, they were making way more interesting perfumes when Demachy was around than Chanel. Right? This is the last one you've done for me. Dior has done quite a bit more interesting perfumes. And as far as quality goes, yes, they may have, reformulated this. Now it's bad. I don't know. That's not my thoughts. I haven't smelt the new version of Eau Sauvage Parfum. Same thing here. This one's still kicking around, but I would assume if you're a really big fan of Fahrenheit Parfum, I would snatch a backup bottle if it is one of your favorites. What Francis is doing right now is repackaging, rejigging the line, kind of like Demachy did in the past. Now, Hermes, same thing with Elena. He built Hermes up. Hermes was, yes, they have a rich history of fragrances, but their men's line, before Elena, the past couple years before that, they're dying a slow death. They weren't releasing anything crazy, honestly. And he revived the brand to put them in this talk. Personally, for me, Elena did it. Now, of course, he's retired. Hermes, honestly, and what has been done since he's left is status quo, personally, for me. And that's where I'm kind of at in this journey, is these brands, and there's tons of brands here in front of me that all have different personalities and different kind of quirks, and high quality for most of them. Is, where's the variety anymore? And that's where I'm at in this journey. And it's not get off my lawn kind of, oh, woe is me, oh, I hate the current. No, it's just where I'm at in the designer game now. It's just like, am I done with designers in regards to the new stuff? And I never thought I would be in that. And I'm looking at what I've been purchasing, right? There's some designer high ends, right? Gucci, Guerlain, there's Lolita Lempicka Green Lover. I don't know if that's Armani, Eau d'Arôme, but that's an older fragrance, right? Obviously the new Boss bottled Elixir, but a lot of it mostly now is niche or high-end designer privé. The excitement for me of buying fragrances like this, like that, and really enjoying them, and there's a lot of density. This is all personal. I'm a decanter for a website, but I'm not a decanter on my own personal stuff. So all these dents that you see is years of use, right? This one's, I love that one. But it goes to show you, like, the crown is up for grabs. Like, nobody here is doing anything exciting. Nothing groundbreaking, nothing trend-setting, right? Like Prada, right? When they first, and that's part of my journey here. There's Amber Put Umbre here. Excellent fragrance, 10 out of 10. Clean, beautiful. And Prada came into the scene when I first started my YouTube channel. So that one, Infusion d'Hommes right here, another Prada clean, excellent blending. And then now they go into this Luna Rosa thing that I can't even, it doesn't speak to me. I don't correlate to it, right? The last fragrance review, right? The Sauvage kind of fragrance, Prada Luna Rosa Carbon, doesn't speak to me at all. It's a Sauvage, right? Let's cut the competition. It's kind of like where Giotto's going with this. They are going for um, the the younger generation. Maybe I'm getting old. That's all it is, I guess. But you know, the big hits, and I was going. You know, I refer back to music, right? Cartier, right? This is one of the brands that could go for the crown. They've always been beating through their own drum. They have a great line with Declaration, which they continue to push. They got Pasha, and they got, of course, Roadster here. They got discontinued. Beautiful bottle, mint-based fragrance, right? Something that's a lot different than a lot of this, and one of the best in the game. What's beside that? La Ligue Encre Noire. Oh, they continue to do these flankers, but at the time, this was crazy, and for the price. Then you got Tom Ford. This is Noir Anthracite. It didn't last long on the market, but it goes to show you what Tom Ford as a brand can do. Obviously, again, it's my personal taste, so that's a banger to me. Not something like this would be a banger, right? This is definitely the new GHP does not speak to me. This does. But then, you know, people are going to come on my video and say, well, not everybody wants to smell like damp earth and rotten corpses and stuff like. It's not it, right? There's a variety here of what I'm talking about is quality blending. You know, going outside of this little square, right? There's Paco Rabanne, which was also dying as a brand, and the 1 million lineup came through. This is 1 million Cologne, which is discontinued, but you know, there's Fleur du Mal. The La Mal lineup was dying in my, you know, in my heyday of the later 2000s. They were just doing summer flankers. And then randomly, you know, after I think Popeye and stuff like that started popping off, they started going, okay, let's do some flankers of them all. And it came back in a serious way. Now it's, you know, one of the most important fragrances if you're like a 20-year-old. What do I have here? The One, of course, some flankers. Amen, right? Mugler has, you know, all these flankers. We're all wishing, you know, a lot of people were saying, you know, I want Mugler to do something different. Well, they did something different. They axed it all. I rather that they continue to do flankers. Narciso de Rodriguez, is that what? Yeah, right. Wet Cement. What's under that? Antidote by Victor and Rolf. Imagine that, something before Spice Bomb. A lot of you may not have even known about that. M7 Fresh, Guerlain L'Homme, O, Bulgari Black, Infusion d'Homme, the original Dioram, the Pulse release, Midnight in Paris, Issey Miyake, Kenzo, Gucci, Guilty, Absolute. This is a good representation of my fragrance journey. Like, again, not some of the best in the game, but it just goes to show you the different flavors, the different types of fragrances. I can look at some of these bottles and think of a brand DNA. Think of, you know, a stepping stone of the brand, a piece of a brand. And a lot of these, of course, are discontinued, but it's part of my journey. And it just kind of goes to me looking at the current designer game. And am I at this crossroad? Maybe I've been at this crossroad for a while. Like when the Blueies came out, you know, I kind of will say, like, even before that, the sport editions of fragrances, I didn't feel that, right? I was not, you know, it sold units. Obviously, everybody started doing sports. And I've reviewed quite a bit of them because that was in my YouTube heyday. And then, of course, summer editions came through, you know, kind of like sports. And I enjoyed those a little bit more. But that was like a phase that I'm just like, okay, yeah, just, you know, go through it. There's other great fragrances that are coming through. Then the blue editions came out and it oversaturated the designer realm where it almost bogged it down for me personally. And then after that, it's just now we're in this Quentin Bish era of everybody's doing sweet fragrances, Tonka, vanilla things. And don't get me wrong, I love a good Tonka-based fragrance. Tonka Imperial, which is up here, which is discontinued, is one of my favorite fragrances of all time, the Tonka Bean fragrance. Guerlain does the Tonka Bean best, honestly. And vanillas, I love them, right? It started with Le Mal. So am I at that crossroad now that, you know, I'll never stop discovering, like I'm still, you know, checking out designer fragrances, but I feel like I'm at that crossroad now. And it took me a while, right? Blurs have been here for about 10 plus years. And it seems like I'm in this kind of funk now. for designer fragrances. And niche has their own thing, right? And I could go like, old school me and do the same thing with niche brands and go, wow, have they gone mainstream, right? And we just got to keep reminding ourselves that this is a business. There is, there's the artistic side of perfumery, which a lot of these speak to me. A lot of these speak to me in different ways. Some of them, right? There's some real good journeys with them. But yeah, this is kind of like, let's talk. Like, where are you at in your designer game? Do you feel like it's kind of at that crossroad? And I wanted to kind of share how I feel right now, currently. And this is not like, oh, DHP sucks. Oh my God, it's my favorite. No, I'm not doing that. I'm not. But it kind of made me it just kind of made the Rolodex go and go like, when was the last time I got really excited about a Dior product? And then it kind of went in this rabbit hole of, well, the top three, what have they done for me personally lately? And who's going to go for the crown, right? It's open for grabs personally, right? Prada can. They can. They have the talent. They have the nose. And they've done it before. Infusion done Prada and L'Homme and all that. Obviously, they're going to have to change their, they would really need to diversify a bit their portfolio, not just clean fragrances, but they can do a very authentic, well done perfume where they could take the crown away from Chanel. It will take some time. It will take 10 plus years, 20 plus years maybe, of continuously doing great fragrances. Cartier can also take that crown. Tom Ford, they could, but I feel now like with something like this, once you smell this and you compare it to a Jean-Paul Gaultier fragrance, which is almost like, I would say maybe second or third tier designer brand, right? There's hardly anything recently of Jean-Paul Gaultier that I could say, I don't throw out Masterpiece every second new release. So, right, like Le Male, with all its flaws, I wouldn't say masterpiece, but I would say a statement piece for me. It is a building block of my journey. Like it's Jubilation 25, same thing by Amouage. It's a huge building block of my journey. So I have that soft spot in my heart in regards to those fragrances. So at the end of the day, I kind of want to know like how you feel about the current, trends. In the fragrance industry, and I kind of wanted to share where I'm at with the designer game because this is where I've been at, I think. Right, I'm trying to think right now of something in the past 6-7 years that really moved me. And there's some fragrances, I know these are not super recent, but they're recent enough, right? There's a lot of older stuff here, right? I don't see anything super new here. I'm looking. These would probably be the ones that give me kind of hope. Like Gucci as a brand is ever since Gucci put on 1 and 2, among others, that they've really ruined the brand. But this brought me a little bit of hope. I think it was just almost a mistake. I don't know what happened there. However, I'm giving them a chance with their Privé line. I got blind bought the Voice of the Snake. I blind bought it. Expensive, yes, but we'll see. It's my first Gucci high end. Issey Miyake, of course, known for their freshies. This is Eau Renaissance, I believe. Yes. A little bit of dent in that one, but recently that's a good one from them. But yeah, kind of at that point now. Am I no longer a designer head? I don't know, right? I'm always going to want to discover. I'm continuously discovering things like even the 70s, 80s, 90s that I've never smelt before, 2000s. That's basically my bread. If you take a look at this is all like 90s, late 90s, early 2000s releases. And that's where I was super ingrained in the designer game, right? 2009, and this is just letting you know about my journey. 2009 was the very first time I smelt niche. That's when it started. My YouTube channel started that year. So anybody that's been with me since then know, you've seen me, delve into, the first time I smelled Nasamato, off a Lucky Scent sample because I was bringing it overseas with me and I smelt it. I'm like, oh my God, Black Afghan was amazing. The first time I smelt Spiritueuse du Bleu Vanille, I saw that on base notes. The beautiful old bottle, where is it? This one, this bottle that nobody, hardly has. I saw this and it's super expensive, but you know what? I got it. I love it, and I still do. My favorite vanilla-based fragrance, but that's very close to the edge. Push you back. All right. So yeah, the designer game. Like I'm trying to think here. Mugler is doing nothing now. Like looking at these brands, right? We talked about these, but like Prada, well, they're in this Luna Rosa thing. I don't know what's going on with them. Cartier still doing Déclaration releases. I do have a sample of the new EDP. There was a Parfum edition which was really, really good, but the EDP is coming through, so I'm going to be sampling that. Lalique continues to do Encre Noires, but not really, on the side of kind of these. Tom Ford, of course, continuing to do their thing. There's some exciting stuff, and then there's not so exciting stuff. Paco Rabanne continues to do Invictus 1 million. Honestly, they are one of the brands that Quentin Bish, as a hired gun, is just not your guy. Your brand identity is now, I don't know, like, yes, you've always been in this goofy bottle, teenager, Invictus, 1 million kind of thing. But, I saw some promise with 1 million cologne and 1 million absolutely gold and, previous and all that. But it's starting to go kind of wayside a little bit, going, oh, where's the personality with the 1 millions and the Paco Rabanne lineup as a whole? Jean Paul Gaultier, same thing, hired gun. You got Quentin Bish doing the exact, you smell a 1 million flanker, you smell Jean Paul Gaultier flanker, and you're like, it's like that Spider-Man. We're all the same. It's kind of sad, personally, for me. The one, yeah, they continue to do, but they're very far and few between. And of course, a lot of these brands now, the interesting perfumes are Middle Eastern exclusives. What's that all about? Honestly, Mugler's dead. They're not doing well. They've released a new one. I don't know if it's any good. I gotta smell it. Narciso de Rodriguez. I've been checking out the women's aisle. I'm having lots of fun with that. Lots of quality. This brand could be a premium brand. The quality is there. But in the men's line, I haven't checked out this Bleu series, I think. I don't know. I should check them out. Going back to Victor and Rolf, now they're all Spice Bomb, Antidotes, Long Gone. M7 Fresh. Oh, what a great fragrance. YSL, well, L'Homme, La Nuit de l'Homme, Flankers, right? Guerlain, keep doing their thing. Bulgari Black, the hockey puck. Man, Bulgari, it's one of those that, like Cartier and Bulgari, when they release something new, people don't talk about it. It's like, what's going on? Prada, we've already talked about. Zial, we already talked about. Midnight in Paris, Victor and Rolf. Van Cleef and Arpels, more now into women's aisle and high-end, lower end niche, I guess we'll say, as far as price point. Issey Miyake, or due. I'd like another darker fragrance for them. Gucci, they're really a lot of misses and then a hit. They're really inconsistent. Kenzo right here, a brand that continues, again, like Issey Miyake, beats to their own drum. And of course, Dior. So, yeah, that's it. So, so that's it. Just kind of, talk a little bit about my journey, my thoughts, my feelings about the designer game. Again, I just want to reiterate, and again, I just want to state that this is not a get off my lawn kind of moment. The designer game, I will always discover. I'll give my thoughts on these brands. I'll continue to sniff, the new Le Male flankers and things like that. However, the excitement, the burning glow of a certain designer fragrance release, I feel like it's dying down inside of me, right? The videos that I shoot, that you've seen, and you can go throughout the past year, a lot of unboxings, of course, from Fragflex, which doesn't really help because it's a lot of fragrances that I'm not personally interested in. There's some that are, but most of them, it's just content for the channel and content for all of you, right? There's fragrances out there, and from this Fragflex stuff that I would never dare purchase. But at the same time, you know, you never know. You could get surprised. So I still have that inner burning of hopefully we start seeing, you know, more, I don't know, like more brands taking chances. That's where the great ones make their way, right? The Chanel's, the Hermes, and the Fahrenheit's, the Dior's. Um, right? Elena did his own recipes and took some chances, right? He wasn't copying other brands. Yes, he was using his own signature in a brand of Hermes, right? There's stuff that he's done before, but kind of rejigged it and did it for Hermes, and it worked. Chanel, same thing, right? Trailblazers. And again, Bleu de Chanel, things like that. You could, you know, you could argue that, but it's not, again, my opinion, my personal taste. I didn't think it was a good recipe. Yes, was it a trailblazer? Absolutely. I'm not an idiot. I'm not going to say, oh, that wasn't a trailblazing fragrance. But for me personally, it's never going to make a top 20 or anything like that for me. I just don't like it. I don't enjoy it. And of course, Dior, I feel like Demachy had more. I don't know who was pulling the strings, but I feel like Demachy had more power than Francis. I think Francis is being put into that chair just because he's an employee of LVMH. I think they're just like, here, we're going to give you an extra paycheck and you be the chair of this brand. It is not the way to go if that's the way it is. He's already too busy. There's already too much on his desk. And I feel it's showing. It's actually showing. Now, I don't know if there's somebody else that they hired, not a big name, right? Somebody that will kind of do all the heavy workload and then just kind of give the brief to Francis and he'll say yay or nay, or, you know, just because there's a creative director or a in-house perfumier like Francis does not mean he does not delegate things, right? Chanel, right? Same thing. You think Pudge does all the work on their fragrances? Why do you think they have Sheldrake there? Why do you think they have, you know, they have a stable of people working on these fragrances? He's just the guy that may say, put a little bit of this, put that in there, do this. You know, this is what we're going to present to the board, right? The LVMH board, and this is our new Dior, and this is what we're going to do, right? That's, I don't know. I don't know where the direction is going to be going. Personally, for me, I could feel it that the designer realm for me might be towards the end of its cycle in regards to, I'm not going to stop discovering. It's not like I'm going to be like designers are garbage now. No, but I can feel it that, right? That a lot of my stuff that I love is starting to get stagnant, right? It's the same stuff. There's no, in the designer realm, right? I'm not talking about niche or indie or anything like that. And that's why this video is made. So I'd love to hear your take. You know, if you enjoyed this journey, take on this journey, kind of get to know me a little bit more. You can talk about your journey, how you feel, where are you in the designer realm. But yeah, this was just another off the cuff kind of video for me. Yeah, thanks for watching. Have a good one.